Hello, I hope you are well. Today I am going to be showing you how I organise my life using a bullet journal. I've been using a bullet journal for 3 years now. I started in September 2016 and I'm about to start my third, so I thought this was a good time to make this video so I can show me setting up this new one. By now I have a really good idea of what works for me and what doesn't, so I feel more comfortable making these recommendations because a lot of these things are things that have worked for me for quite a long time. A note before we start, my bullet journal is not pretty. It's functional and easy to maintain and to use, but as you're going to see soon, this is not a bullet journal that is lovingly maintained. I've watched so many wonderful bullet journal videos on YouTube for inspiration, and my bullet journal does not look like those. Sometimes I wish it did, but I'm all about the functionality and that's what works for me, so that's what I've done. If you're looking for a simple, quick layout, then this video might be for you. I only use one pen and a ruler. After it taken me about an hour to set up the book, it only takes me about 10 minutes every Saturday to maintain it and to set it up for the next week, and then an extra 10 minutes on the final Saturday of the month to set up the next month's spread. My bullet journal is a Leuchtturm1917 dotted notebook, A6 size. I recommend them. They cost about £12. If you're just starting out though and you're not sure whether you're going to like bullet journaling, then I'd recommend possibly starting on a notebook that you already own, or Paperchase has thinner dotted notebooks for like £3 or £4. So that's the end of me rabbiting on for now. Let's set up my new bullet journal. Okay, this is my new dotted notebook. At the front is an index page, but we'll get to that later. The way I set up my bullet journals is to have a general section at the start, and then the rest of the book is for my monthly and weekly planning. So firstly, I'm going to show you the pages that I find mostly useful to have at the front of the bullet journal. This page will be familiar to anyone who watches my live streams. This is the list. This is where I keep a record of things that have been recommended to me. I find it really useful to have them all in one place, and I have quite a bad memory and sometimes it takes months or years to get to the thing, so I like knowing that I have it all recorded somewhere. Next, this is the only finances spread I use in my bullet journal. I mainly use a spreadsheet for expenses and things, but this one reminds me of regular, so yearly or monthly payments. So for instance, I pay for my Creative Cloud in March and Crunchyroll in July, and then Netflix is on the 25th of each month, and Patreon is on the 1st. This one is a new one for me because I think I need it now. It's a place for me to record the birthdays of friends and family. As I get older, I find it more difficult to keep track of this, as my friend group expands as people move further away. Then I have a 2-page spread for my YouTube channel, which obviously won't be relevant for everyone, but I release specific videos on specific days of the week, and this is where I make a note of what goes on what day, and also what colours and fonts I use in the thumbnails. And this page is where I have listed all of the different categories I use in my favourites videos. Now this is something I really recommend. I have several ideas pages in my journal. Blank pages where if I have an idea for anything at all, video, story, dinner, I write it in there. The moments where you think of something and need to write it down immediately or you'll forget it, this is my place for those moments. And I keep a bookmark in this section so I can get to it quickly. This section is new for this bullet journal as I started a Patreon a few months ago. I'm using it to keep track of when I release my Patreon rewards across the month. And that's all I put at the start of my bullet journal. I used to have more things, but I found I didn't use them, so it's really streamlined over time. But here are some more ideas for other layouts. I used to have a reading list in my bullet journal where I draw the books that I wanted to read and colour them in when I finished them. As I said before, I prefer to use a spreadsheet for finance stuff, but others may like to keep track of spending or saving goals in their bullet journal. Sleep trackers are quite popular. You could keep a record of your passwords or hints to your passwords. Meal planning could be quite fun and useful. I used to have a wish list in my bullet journal. A chore list could be really useful. There are so many options, and if you have any more suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Okay, now we get to the fun part. Here is my monthly layout. This is for September. I start with a calendar where the rows are days and the columns are times, so I can keep track of my plans for the whole month, and I have a notes section to the side for things that don't quite fit in that calendar. For instance, I have a meeting at 6 PM on Wednesday the 11th of September. Also on this page I put goals and tasks for the month, and also a section where I write some of my plans for next month. This month I want to finish my Jester cosplay and have a photo shoot. I want to work on Twitch alerts, and I've listed the things that I need to do to complete my Jester cosplay. Next month I don't have many plans yet. After the month is set up, I go to the week. I have a notes box to start, and then 7 5.5 by 5.5 centimetre boxes for the days of the week. I have a goal tracker which has got a lot bigger over time because I find it really useful, so I've added more goals to it. At the moment these are the things that I am tracking, but it changes quite often. And then I have a box for next week, which is what I'll use when I'm making my next weekly spread. So how do I organise my tasks and appointments? I use a key. In the back of the book I stick a folded piece of card, which is where I record the key. In my bullet journal I use circles to denote appointments and events, and I use squares to denote tasks. For instance, here I'm recording all of my Twitch streams for this week, which are events, and I'm putting in some of my tasks for the week. You'll see that on Saturday I always put one of my tasks as to work on the bullet journal for next week. Anything that doesn't have a day yet, or that I just generally have to keep in mind, goes in notes. And next week one of my Patreon rewards is due. And I also have a YouTube video out on Tuesday. And then once the week starts, if I cross out the box or circle, then that means the event or task is cancelled. I half colour in the box when I have started working on it. If it's half coloured in and then crossed out, it means I've started work on it and then abandoned it. If I need to migrate a task to a different day, either because I've run out of time or because my plans have changed, I put an arrow in the box. A half coloured box with an arrow means that, you've guessed it, I have started and then migrated the task, and the box is coloured in completely when it's all done. I find that's all I ever really need to keep track of things very well. Now I've set everything up, I am writing the page numbers in the index. I keep quite a few pages blank in the book in case I find something I want to add later, so I'm also leaving spaces in the index to account for that. And finally, I'm going to show you what August looks like in my old bullet journal so you can see how I use it, and also how not pretty at all it is. I've had to blur out some stuff, sorry, but hopefully this gives you an idea. So there you have it, I have now set up my new bullet journal, it's all ready to go. I hope this was useful or that it gave you some ideas of things that might work for you. If you already use a bullet journal, I'd love to know what sort of things you find it beneficial to include. I really recommend bullet journaling. I am quite a busy person with a bad memory, and it's been so helpful, and I can't imagine not using one now. It's always sitting on my desk open at the current week, and I use it constantly. Anyway, that's the end of the video, let's move across to the end screen. If you would like to see my latest video or some more craft videos from me, then you can do so below me here. Proof that I am occasionally more competent artistically than I am in my bullet journal. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel or visit my website, then you can do so beside me here. And the link to my Patreon page is in the description below. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.